Hey, how's it going, guys? Jeremy here from Animus Complex, and today I'm going to be talking about our live in-ear rig. We get asked a lot of questions about this. It controls our in-ear mixes as well as our lights and patch changes for my axe effects as well as our vocalist Matt's voice live. Everything starts with a computer. I like to run Ableton. I've used it for years. You might have a program that you're comfortable with, Pro Tools, Cubase. It really doesn't make a difference. Any major DAW is going to be fine. They're all basically doing the same function at the end of the day. And I just prefer Ableton. It's easy for me to get around. Starting off the backing tracks, our music is very layered. Those of you who are familiar with our music, I am the only guitarist, so providing those other tracks is basically done with backing tracks. We've had a bunch of different phases of this. I used to use a looping pedal live, and we just kind of gravitated towards this. You see more and more bands nowadays using this. Devin Townsend, one of them. I mean, there's a lot of bands out there. Sometimes people are using them more than others, but this has some of the backing guitar, just rhythm parts that are kind of just looped around and whatnot, things that repeat. That basically runs into our in-ear rig. Then we have our Midi Changes. This controls the patches for myself and for Matt. This helps a lot with the tap dancing aspect. I can't tell you how many times I've been on one side of the stage doing something, just into the show, having a good time, and forget like, oh wow, I need to change a patch and I gotta run across the stage or whatever it is. It just frees me up, and it frees our vocalists up to kind of just focus on performing and not have to worry about that aspect of it. I get questions a lot like, hey man, your patch changes are super clean. How exactly is that happening? This is exactly how it's happening. And it's actually all just controlled through this little MIDI controller. You don't really need anything too technical. I mean, what this is performing is basically a pretty simple task. It's just basically sending a very simple signal to whatever piece of gear that you're trying to control. Ours actually just kind of went out on us, which is my fault. I broke the cord on the back. Just through traveling and everything else, it kind of got messed up. Bought the same exact one. This thing has lasted me years, and it's a workhorse for us. And like I was saying before, this actually controls our vocalist Matt's patch changes as well, so all of his different vocal, different things, reverbs and delays and whatnot, all run through that. Then we have our lights, which are controlled through here as well. Basically kind of the same thing. You see all these like lines going on. That is one color, so that's red. This would be red right here for one song. All of our songs, we put them all on one session, and then just basically change the tempo as throughout our set. We have a bunch of different sets put together, different times for whatever show we're playing and whatnot. Maybe we're playing with like a lot of heavy bands, so we don't really use any of our softer stuff, so on and so forth. But that controls our lights. It was kind of a little bit more of a complicated thing to set up. It takes a lot of time to control each little thing. These are Rgba Lights. So you basically can control red, green, blue, and amber on them. They're mounted to these basically PVC poles, which need to be changed out here pretty soon because they're getting pretty beat up. But yeah, they're all basically chained together and controlled through our computer. The next thing that we run into is our actual in-ears themselves. For us, we've been using this Behringer X32, and we love it. It's a really awesome board. It's super easy to route things. The price point on it is pretty awesome as well, and the sound quality of it is pretty awesome. Basically what we do is most of our inputs are running into here, and then they're all running out to front of house. What this enables me to do is I can hook everything up with a snake, and when the front of house guy comes up to me and asks me, kind of what's going on with sound, and sometimes, if you guys have played on a road a little bit, sometimes you get to a venue that has like one PA speaker and like a 4-channel board or something, and the front of house guy is also the bartender, and so on and so forth, the janitor and everything else, and they kind of look at you like, I don't know what any of this is. I can basically just hand him a cable snake and say, hey, everything's labeled on it. This, and this. You plug it in, you know, mix to your heart's content, so to speak. So I've simplified this as much as I can, not only for my own sanity, but for time purposes. You guys know the deal. You usually have 15 minutes to set up on stage, so a lot of this stuff has to be ready to go as much as it possibly can be before we even step on stage. Having to tune guitars, get ready to do vocals, you know, set up both of these rigs, make sure everything is going okay on stage as far as lights. It's a lot of things to take care of. And I just, like I was saying, trying to keep it as simple as possible. The other beautiful thing about this mixer is the phone app for it. Now, I believe this runs on Android as well, but what this basically allows us all to do is have our own kind of personal mixer with us on stage. So if I hit these sends, like if I go over to our keys track and I change it, you see the fader moves as I change this. So it's pretty neat. I know when we first got that, we were pretty stoked about all that. But yeah, this makes everything easy for everybody on stage. You don't have to come over to the board and mess with this. You know, you're on the other side of stage, you have your phone, we usually keep them out somewhere close. Just go over, boost the signal, do whatever you gotta do. And basically all we do is, that signal is basically sent back and forth with this very simple Netgear router. That's pretty much it. We've got a bunch of different setups on here. Sometimes, like I was saying, you run into those places where they don't have a crazy sound system. So we bring a big speaker with us, and we actually have 2 of them, and they are more than loud enough to power most, or be loud enough for pretty much most venues. And what we do is we have a pre-designated mix of a certain couple of channels that we send out to that, and then I basically attach all those to 1 or 2 faders depending how many speakers we use, and then I can move those up and down, and we can get a really quick mix before we go on stage that we can do ourselves. All of those mixes, they're all on their own. Each person has their own channel. They're all sent out via aux sends, and those aux sends are sent into our Galaxy Audio AS 1100Ts. Matt and I have had one of these for years now. We randomly came across the company, and they are a super solid company to deal with. I remember one time we broke a little piece which was on our end. They sent us out like 10. I think it was like a clip went bad, and they sent us like 10 clips. Like, super cool people to deal with. Our bass player Steve actually just got one as well, and our drummer Mike is going to be getting one as well. But that's pretty much the rig. Everything, like I was saying, runs through here. Only thing that doesn't is we have a splitter, which we used to use for a different setup. We used to use pretty much all of these channels. Right now, mainly the kick gets used so that I can give a clean kick channel to front of house. It's unaltered, there's no compression, EQ, anything. That gives them the ability to do what they want as far as effects and whatnot on it. And yeah, that's pretty much the rundown. And last but not least, power conditioner. I can't tell you how important that is. I see people with a lot of expensive gear, and it's like plugged into like some Walmart power strip into like the main venue wall socket, and yeah, that's just not a good idea. I mean, these things aren't super expensive. You can go like on Craigslist and get them for like $60. I can tell you, if you're doing anything with like expensive gear, or you're looking to upgrade or get into more of this type of thing, the first thing I would say is just get a simple power conditioner. It's going to save you a lot of headache. If something happens, you get some dirty power or something's going on, it's going to save you a piece of equipment or an input, or so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it. Let us know your guys' rigs. How are you guys running things? What kind of boards are you using? What kind of gear are you using? If you guys have any questions at all, just let us know, and we'd be glad to help you guys out. Thanks for watching.